All right. Here we are at
all right.
And I'm going to tell you, I am not high, but I'm a little goofy today because I'm having some pain issues. I'm getting ready for hip surgery. So here's Deborah Colleen Rose at the best that she can do today. We have Lou Ann Morris and Herbal Lou Apothecary, and we have Chrystal Teague, the goddess of Baruti Spa, making everybody look good. Yeah. Crystal's in the house. All right, Lou Ann, tell everybody what we're talking about today because it's gonna get ugly. I think it's gonna get ugly.
Well, I have a problem with this. I try.
What is it? Tell them what it is.
To have a difficult conversation with someone close to you, or a coworker. It doesn't matter who. It's just that when things go sideways, I have to have clarity. I have to have, well, can you tell me what you were thinking when you said that,
You want full disclosure, transparency,
right,
authenticity.
right.
Yeah, so everybody kind of thinks I'm too blunt, but I'm like, bitch, please. Did you know that was hateful what you just said?
Yeah, and you don't want to walk around it like the elephant in the room forever because that doesn't solve anything.
So obviously this is a big thing to you.
Miss
Chrystal.
The reason it's a big thing is because I don't know how to handle it.
Really?
You always hope that you're really good at it, but I'm not.
Well, but you're asking them to be honest, open, and authentic. So why don't you just be open, honest, and authentic? Say, damn, bitch, did you really mean that? That hurt my feelings.
Yeah, and exactly.
Miss Crystal's real blunt, aren't you?
Wait a minute, she's gearing up.
Blunt.
I don't feel like I'm blunt so much as I feel like I'm oftentimes direct because I try to cut through the BS and get to the heart of the issue, if you will. Because I'll just say my time is valuable. You know what I mean? And at my age and with my health conditions, I personally feel like I don't have a whole lot of time to waste on somebody else's malfunction or inability to communicate properly. And I know that sounds a little gruff, but I find that I try to be polite, I try to be professional, but at the same time, I'm often told that I come across as commanding or overbearing because number one, I'm so tall, and number two, I speak from a place of authority, and that is intimidating to some people. And I was made to feel really bad about it as an adult for a long time. And then I realized I should not have to be made to dumb things down because you feel I'm talking over your head when I'm speaking common everyday professional terminology in my career field, or that because I'm taller than you, you feel like I'm talking over your head. I'm not going to diminish my light just so that you can shine a little bit brighter, because that's not fair to me at all.
No, and it seems like, in the instance where I was kind of at a loss for words, I had been feeling something was off, but I didn't know what. And so when this occurred, I was like, what just happened? What just happened? I don't understand what just happened.
Well,
I
I
hate it
have,
when people tell you there's nothing wrong, and there's obviously there is, and you're like, well,
Mhm.
so what's wrong? Nothing, nothing. That just drives me insane.
well, I played this for Deborah the other day. My two things these days, are my two things that I'm sharing with the world, are number one, when people are rude or they're not communicating properly, or I feel like they're just doing whatever, my response is to smile genuinely, dig down deep and look at them and go, are you okay?
I love that.
Because it
I
works on so
love
many
it.
levels.
That's
Are you,
good.
so if they're being rude or disrespectful or demeaning to me or other people in the room for some reason, I'm just going to come from that place of concern and go, are you okay? You know,
See,
that
that's
sort
so
of
much
thing.
nicer than what I do because I go sarcastic, mean. I'm like, okay, so I'm not getting you. Why don't you explain that to me like I'm a 2-year-old?
Well,
I heard
and
her
the other
say that
thing is,
yesterday.
Yeah, you
well,
did,
and
didn't you?
the other thing is, I played this for Deborah the other day when she was here for her facial and chilling out for a minute. There's this new, it's called the philosophy of let them. So if people aren't wanting to engage in a meaningful manner with you, then let them. If they don't want to rise to your expectations, then let them. One of her whole points was, we waste so much energy in our lives trying to hold other people to a higher expectation for what we have for them rather than where meeting them right where they're at.
Yeah,
Does that
it's
make
hard
sense?
though to do that when, I mean, when you've been friends with somebody 10 plus years,
Mm-hmm.
you're like, I I don't know what's happening. I don't, and how do you bring them out to try to, because to me,
You
um,
don't. You let them. Seriously, you just let them. Because
then
I
where
mean,
does that leave me?
well,
Alone,
that leaves you
baby,
super fine and
alone.
no, sweetie, that leaves you super fine and fantastic. Because here, I'm gonna share my personal gospel, my personal truth, my personal experience with you. Okay, I love my mother. I love my father. I love all of my relatives so very much. I love my brother and my sister, and I want a deeper, higher, more meaningful relationship with them, more than you would ever want to know, right? But there's only so much physical and emotional abuse I can personally take, right? So I love my sister from afar.
Right.
Okay. I love my sister from afar. I love my brother from afar. We talk on the phone, we exchange voicemails or Facebook messages from time to time, but that was a long time coming because I couldn't force them to get where I'm at, right? I had to wait for them to get to where they were ready to step up to where I'm at on an emotional level, if you will, and a real physical level. Um, I have a very dear friend that I've known for going on 30 years now, and you've both met them. And I haven't actually asked Luann what her impression of this person was, but Deborah's impression was spot on. It's like they have such an unrealistic expectation of how other people are supposed to act, say, and behave that
Mm.
when they don't, it's like they're lying in wait for them to make a mistake so they can say, I told you so. Like a
Mhm.
perfect example, I practice random acts of day making. I've been doing it for 12 or 15 years where I will randomly reach out to somebody or somebody crosses my mind or my heart and I will send them a text message or leave them a voicemail or just call them and say, hey, I was thinking about you today and I just wanted to let you know in case, nobody else has told you lately, you're a fine human being. You're a good soul and you have value in this world. Well, that turned around, bite me on the butt a week later, like, well, I knew you were just buttering me up because you wanted something, you know? And I'm just like, I'm sorry, that's your experience in life. But first off, I had already talked to you about doing this thing and engaging with me about this several weeks ago, a couple months ago. And this is just me reminding you. It just happened to be that a week ago, I randomly reached out to you to give you a kind word because you were on my mind. So, that person is, and that seems to be a repeating lesson in their life. It's like you can't get mad at the person in traffic. You can't control them. You can get mad at them, but it doesn't do you any good to cuss and scream and rail at them because they failed to meet your expectations, a perfect stranger whom they've never met, much less a person that you have met. And, you know, I was an instructor in a classroom for over 20 years, you know, and you would think as an instructor, you have expectations, what we call minimum expectations of behavior, decorum, achievement. You know, the government, for that financial aid, they want you to meet certain student academic performance minimum, right? Well, there, you know, you would be surprised how many times students would fail to meet that minimum expectation. And then instead of looking at the student and going, okay, what's your malfunction? The director or the student will look at the educator and go, okay, what's their malfunction and why haven't you fixed it?
Because you can't.
That's very much like what I teach in my corporate classes to managers and upper and middle management, is that if you have employees that are stealing from you or they're not doing their job well, what have you done to contribute to that attitude where they feel justified in what they do? Not that I'm condoning theft, okay?
Yeah.
But people will do things to make themselves feel better by justifying things because they feel mistreated, ignored, run down, that type of thing. So all relationships are a two-way street, all of them. And that's why I have very limited friendships, because my friendships are like a marriage without sex. I'm all in. And if I'm not all in with that person, I have a lot of acquaintances and I can go and socialize and hang out. But in my mind, I don't go, that person's my friend. They're, you know, someone I socialize with, I know them or whatever. That to me, that's akin to saying, oh, I have 5,000 friends on Facebook. No, you have 5,000 names on a list. And, you know, someone asked me, how many friends do you have on Facebook? And I said, well, I have 5,000 on my list, but I only have 10 friends. And those are real casual. And I have 2 close ones. You know?
Yeah.
No,
I don't
and
think you ever truly have more than 1 or 2 close friends. And
well, and Luann, let's bear in mind also, I'm spouting out all this stuff, and I don't really even know the details of the situation, other than, you know, somebody basically have screwed you over or hurt you in some way based upon their actions or their words or their deeds or the lack thereof.
I don't, you know, I don't want to make that public. I just want to understand how to communicate with someone you've known for that long and someone you've called a best friend and a sister, and you're like, what just happened? How do I?
You ask that question, what just happened? Like, seriously, give them time. Don't try to force it too much. I am the world's worst at trying to force the situation, because I want an answer. I want it now. You know what I mean? But sometimes you can't do that. Sometimes you have to let people process in their own way, give them an opportunity to come to you as a meeting of the mind. And if they don't, I usually say, give people 2 or 3 days grace, you know, and if they haven't come to their own senses, then you reach out and just say, hey, I've been a friend and a sister, and we've been friends, or put it on the footing of we. So you start off with equal. We've been friends, we've been sisters for X number of years. And I'm not sure what happened or what was going on with you yesterday or what happened with us, other than this is how it left me feeling, and I don't understand it. And I'm looking to you from your part as somebody outside looking in who cares about you, saying, are you willing or ready to share with me what was going on that sparked that? What can I do, or what can we do to mend or repair this relationship? And if they're not able, willing, or ready at that time, then don't take it personal. It just means they're not ready. Let them take that time. And if you end up growing back together, that's great. If you don't, hey, that's just as good in my book, because that means they've got their own journey. I've got my own journey, you know?
Yeah, but Chrystal, that's not really what happened for her. She
Mhm.
did all that and did it quite well, from my understanding. She just
Yeah.
didn't get the result that she was looking for.
I waited 5 days before I
Mhm.
contacted, and I said, we need to like put this out on the table and talk about it.
Mhm.
And I got the same regurgitation I got the following Thursday. I mean,
Previous Thursday.
yeah.
Okay. Well, you know what that tells me, though? That just means they're stuck in that space for whatever reason. They're on a repeating loop. You know how, like, when the needle gets stuck in the record and just keeps playing the same phrase over and over? That means they're damaged. Literally, the record's damaged. Their damage is such that they're stuck in that loop. And until, you know, something happens to either knock them out of that loop, or the blockage resolves itself, is worn down by the needle over time, they're not going to be willing to move forward and finish the rest of that album, much less that song. So if they're still repeating the same thing 5 days later, that means they're still processing it. They're still stuck in it. And it sounds to me like you've done everything that you can do, right? And right now, I'm assuming, just based on that, and this would be an assumation on my part, where I make an ass out of you and me, you know, that, you know, chances are their regurgitation was a lot of you, and I, and less of us, and we.
Yeah.
So so then in that case, that also tells me that from a psycho-spiritual standpoint, they are stuck in what I call what my teacher used to call them, what I call the I am syndrome. Okay. That means in their world, in their universe, I am God. I am the law. I am I am the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the end. I am everything. There is nobody else greater than I am. I am basically, they're stuck in the I am headspace instead of the we are headspace. And like I said, we all go through that. We all go through it. And when we're in times of trauma, we slip back into what was ingrained into us as a child. And that is, I am, I want, I need, I can, I want.
Yeah, but some people never get past that ever. I mean,
They never
with a
do.
lot of my coaching clients, especially in couples situations, it's amazing to me the lack of people reciprocating to one another. Many relationships, and many of them last many years, will be where one partner or one friend or one spouse does all the work, and then one day they wake up and they go, hey, this isn't enough. And so they start asking for something, not more. They just start asking for anything, and the other person doesn't want to reciprocate. I don't expect a lot of my relationships, I don't think, even though I get labeled being a very demanding person. I'm not a demanding person. I just expect people to bring me their best. I know. I do. I expect people to be honest with me. I expect them to be open with me but it's not like I expect them to do a lot for me. But if I do come to the table and say, hey, I'm weak, I'm broken, I'm hurt, I need your help, I expect it to be reciprocated because I give of myself.
And if it's not, we're hurt, right? If it's not, we're hurt.
No, if I'm not hurt, I'm done. You know,
I mean, I'm done. Well, and like I said, the whole point was, how do we communicate though with people that really don't want to communicate with us? They just want to feel what they feel.
Yeah, they don't want to try to work anything out.
Then again, that kind of takes me back to my original statement. Let them. Okay.
Yeah, why even put any effort into it? Why try?
I literally as a young adult, I was in my early 20s. I had left school at I graduated school at 17. So I graduated a year early. I joined the United States Air Force, the youngest person in the history of the military to join the intelligence career field. I did a lot of firsts. I was the only person in the history of the Air Force also to only miss our version of the Kobayashi Maru in my career field by 1 point. Literally. So I had I was a driven person. I was intelligent. I was ready to go, and I was everything else. And then
I wish you wouldn't use that terminology.
Huh?
I wish you wouldn't use that terminology. You weren't, you are.
I am. Okay. Well, I grew to expect a lot from myself. But one of the things I learned from that situation was that I was spending so much of my energy in that training program. Number one, I was the youngest person there. I was 17 years old. Looking back now, I was 17 years old. These were grown ass men and women some of them in their 30s and 40s. This was their second career in the military. Like some of them had already gone through other careers. So, but I'm here, this 17-year-old kid, helping grown adults pass their tests, get their stuff. I spent so much time helping other people prepare for that test that I didn't fully prepare accurately on my thing. I would have been the only person to ever pass that test if I had not spent hours that day helping other people prepare their presentations. Instead, I spent 15 minutes on my presentation, right? Instead of
I
the
see a lot of
hours
that
that I
with
should have had.
Luann. I see a lot of that with Luann.
Yeah.
Luann's a very giving person.
Yeah.
And I kind of just sit back and I go between fluctuations of sitting in awe of her and then wanting to slap her. Because
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, we give and we give and we give. And I come to find out it was the same thing in my family. You know, if something was going on in the family, financially, I was the person that got called on. I took out a loan at 17 years old for, I forget how many thousands of dollars, because my mom was like, oh, we're not going to make bills this month. We might get evicted, things like that. And it was just repeating and repeating until my 30s almost. I think it was in my 30s when I finally woke up and learned that lesson. I said, okay, Mom, I love you. Sister, I love you. And I have to remember about my brother. He was taking care of his own business. By that point, he was almost making 6 figures a year, at a very young age. So he was living his best life away from the family. And I had to figure out I needed to do the same thing, right? So I said, okay, y'all, this is the last time I'm bailing anybody out. Y'all fix your own problems. Y'all grown adults. And so here's the deal, Luann, we can't control grown adults. We can control ourselves. We can control how we act. We can control how we react. And if you want to know how to communicate with an adult in a way that's not going to piss them off, I'm sorry, that's impossible, because some people, it sounds to me like you're dealing with a narcissistic personality where it's all about them. It's always been about them. And you were basically, without saying this in a rude way, you were their little lapdog. You were they were treating you like you were their servant, if you will, in life. And the minute you stop being their servant and doing everything they want, they're asked, and become independent, that's when they're going to start having problems. Or like Deborah says, start asking for reciprocation that they're not willing to give. I was in that situation with my family. Like the way that story started, I got out of the military, wound up in the boonies with my family. Then we ended up moving to Shreveport, Bossier City. And then all of a sudden I went from just my stepdad, my mom, and myself and my sister and her baby in the household to it was my stepdad, my mom, my sister, her baby, and her new husband that she surprised us all with, my brother, his girlfriend, her 2 kids, my uncle and his 3 kids, all in the same household throughout the course of the summer. And everybody else was able to go out and get jobs, but Chrystal had to stay and do laundry, change diapers, cook food, do the grocery shopping, do everything for everybody else. And I'm like, well, when is Chrystal going to be able to go out and get a job? When am I going to be able to get that? I mean, and I quite literally just got up one day early. I took the keys to the truck and I left them a note, said, okay, y'all are on your own today. I'm not coming back to this house until I have a job. I came back 8 hours later and I had a job. And I stopped doing laundry for everybody. I did my own laundry. I stopped doing dishes for everybody. I did my own dishes. I stopped cooking food for everybody. I did my own cooking. And it took about 3 or 4 days. And I woke up one morning to a spotless house. Dishes were done. Breakfast was in the oven, warmed for me with a note signed by everybody in the household. We're so sorry. We did not realize how much you did for us. Thank you, and we're sorry. Now, could you please do the laundry?
But you know what? That shows that people can learn. People can learn if they want to. But let me, I would like to hear more about how you're processing all of this.
Yeah, how are you processing this?
Well, I'm still some days it's still, what happened? What
think
just
she
happened?
turned.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And she took a bite.
She took a bite of hamburger.
Because it was something that happened that I didn't realize I did it. I was tired. It had been a crazy day. And I was like, oh gosh, I need to be heard. They need to know what I'm saying. So I spoke up. Evidently, I spoke up too loud. I was yelling. So first of all, I thought, did I yell? What happened here? And the other person in the room says, yeah, that was kind of harsh. And I was like, I did not intend to be yelling at anybody or calling anybody out. I just wanted to be heard. I wanted you to know what I was saying, and I guess I did it too loudly. So I apologized right away because I thought, well, if two people are saying that, it must have happened, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it didn't matter. I was still threatened. And you know, like your mom threatens you to say, if you don't do that, I'm going to do this.
Mm-hmm.
And when you were a kid. So, you know, I'm still having a problem every day trying to figure out what I did that was so horrible that I had never done before with this person or with anybody really since I was 40. um, so I just had trouble dealing with it. And I thought, well, maybe I wasn't contrite enough. Maybe I wasn't, uh, maybe I didn't apologize correctly. You know, so I started doubting myself mostly.
Mm-hmm.
But
But you did apologize when it happened, right?
absolutely right
Okay.
away.
Mm-hmm.
Right away, because I was
Mm-hmm.
not aware of its impact when it happened.
Well, here's the deal though, Luann, if the friendship is a true friendship, if the sisterhood is a true sisterhood, and you and I both know sisters will fight, sisters will argue, but they will always love and care about each other regardless, and eventually they'll come back to one another. Okay. And that may be part of what this is, but at the same time, we have to be able and be willing to give the people in our lives at least some level of grace. And so if this was something that you had never done before, whatever, and this was basically you standing up for yourself and you saying, stop, I need this moment or I need that, but they weren't there for you in that moment, instead chose to take it as a personal affront rather than saying, oh, she's never done this before, something must be going. So instead of looking at you and going, Luann, are you okay?
Yes.
They instead went immediate to, I can't believe she had the nerve to say that. I can't believe she had the nerve to do that to me. You know what I mean?
Well, and
So,
I kind of felt like I'd been slapped or stabbed or,
mhm.
you know, and I just was trying to figure out, what do I say? How do I let them know I'm sincere?
You let them know that you were sincere the moment you immediately turned around and apologized when it was brought to your attention. Luann,
But see, that
I
shows how
don't know you as
gracious
anything but a sincere person.
Yeah, I was going to say, but this shows you how gracious Luann is, and I find this to be true of many people, that even when they feel like they've done nothing wrong, and but they've also have made amends to the best of their ability, they continue to look at what they might have done better. That's a spirit that is trying to grow and wanting to be all that they can be. And when you have no one that accepts that or is gracious to say, you know what, I can see this and I can see your side. How do you ever find a meeting of minds if the other person is not willing to cross the fence to see things from your perspective? This
There you
is
Yeah, I
go.
the
don't.
biggest issue, I think, in our lives today, is when someone stands their ground and they will not listen to what you have to say. They will not see through your eyes. They will not feel with your heart and will not get with that perspective. I
Mhm.
don't have to agree with it to be able to understand it.
Yeah. And
Right.
my answer
Yeah.
is let them.
Yeah.
I'm stuck on that.
Yeah,
Let them.
and that's kind of where I'm going with it. You know, it is what it is, and I need to learn not
Mhm.
to um it's it's still confusing for me. So I guess my point is that if you have a conflict like this, what words do you use to get the other person to respond?
Oh,
What?
I got it. I
Okay,
know,
let's
I
hear
know,
it.
Mr. Cotter. What's the matter with you, bitch? Are you not paying attention?
Or you could say it more nicely with, "Are you okay? I'm here for you to listen to you if you're right." You know what I
And
mean?
yeah, I probably need to repeat that to myself a couple times. Are you okay?
Yeah.
You
Are
know,
you okay? Because that's a,
Well,
like I said, that's a little,
having well, wait a minute.
go
Having
ahead.
more details than what Chrystal has here, I would have had to have said, so you're willing to throw everything that I am in your life away, and I have no importance to you whatsoever, because this is what you're saying to me right now. I
that's the
would
way it
have to
felt.
say that.
That's
I
the
would
way it
have to
felt.
say that. I would have to put it in perspective that when they're not willing to even try to meet me a quarter of the way, knowing that I'm hurt, knowing that there has been a huge disconnect in the relationship, I would say, do you understand that you are saying that I'm not important to you? Is that what you're really trying to say? That you have no value in our relationship? I don't know why it's difficult for people to put things on that level in conversation.
But does
To
this have
say what,
anything to do with your husband's Facebook outburst yesterday?
oh
Me?
no,
That was completely unrelated.
Oh yeah, completely unrelated to this. It was something else. It's funny.
Okay, I look forward to hearing that details because I've never heard your husband speak like this to anyone.
Oh wait, maybe one of them was because he had several
It's
little
you,
outbursts.
insecure, self-centered, lying, hypocritical, nasty person. You don't know how to have a friend. You're a user and a fraud. You know who you are.
Oh yeah, that has to do with
Okay.
it.
Because it sounded like we were touching
Yeah,
on the
it
same
did.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
it
was
bases.
did.
it.
Because I was
Scott
like,
is
I've
very,
never heard Scott go off on anybody like that.
but
I mean, I've seen
Scott
him
is
be
a true
snarky about
gentleman.
things, but
He's a true gentleman. He's a protector of women, and he doesn't get to protect me very often, so he extends it to all of my friends.
yeah, I was just wondering. So anyway, in the end, I think what gets me more about your original question, Luann, was how do you say this and have that mature conversation and address issues without pissing somebody off or without pissing everybody off? Here's the deal. And again, it ties right back into the he's not that into you or let them modality, if you will, because who the fuck cares if they get pissed off?
Thank you.
Why should I
Thank
be the only
you.
one with a barbecued ass in this situation? Right? I'm not saying retaliation
No.
is the way to go, but what I'm saying is this: if you're not going to mince your words with me, why do I have to mince my words around you? Right?
Yeah, and if
Because
I'm butthurt, you need to know that I'm butthurt, and you're the one that made me feel that way. And if you don't care that I'm butthurt, then we really have an issue.
yeah, and that's one of my favorite quotes, by the way, from a Torch Song trilogy.
What's that?
Yes.
Why should I be the only one with a barbecued ass?
Yep. I love that. Oh, I love that movie.
That
That movie
falls right
makes me
along in
cry.
line with the oops.
Yep.
David, this is not an oops. Oops is when you accidentally fall down an elevator shaft.
Yep.
Oops, David, is when you accidentally douche with Drano. This is not an oops, David. This is an ah.
Yeah. If you've not seen the movie Torch Song Trilogy with Matthew Broderick, you've got to see it.
A very young, almost looking prepubescent Matthew Broderick.
Yeah.
Playing a male fashion model in 1970s.
Yeah.
I think it was New York City, Manhattan. His first time in a gay club and gets hit on by a drag queen. And then he falls in love immediately
Yeah. Yeah.
with a drag queen named Virginia Ham, who sings torch songs in a voice like this.
Yeah. Yep. It's great. It's a great movie. But the thing is that just to broaden our vision here, isn't everything that's wrong with this world is because people are afraid to be who they are. They're afraid to say what they feel. They're afraid to say what they think and to act on what they think they need to act on. Unless they're fascists.
No.
And fascists seem to be real comfortable in acting on everything.
No,
So
and I don't honestly, I don't I see where you're going with that, and I feel it's a valid viewpoint. I don't really feel like that's really why everything's going wrong in the world anymore. I think it's honestly, well, I guess it's tied to that, but I think really what it was is we've moved so far. We are so far removed from the times in human history when all of our lives depended upon the actions of everybody else. Does that make sense? When, you know, you had the people who were the best hunters, the people who tanned the best skins, the people who found the freshest berries, person who knew how to make the medication, things like that. You know, we've lost that sense of community and that interdependence upon one another. And so we're all these basically these independent little islands out there in this world these days. And we seem to forget that while we as humans can survive alone without human contact for a time, we tend to go batshit crazy if and or when it happens. I mean, let's face it. If for no other reason, let's look. What was the movie with Tom Hanks? Wilson.
Oh,
I never saw that.
Trapped on the island. He goes batshit crazy for a time, right? You know, this soccer ball is his best friend. He's carrying on conversations with an inanimate object, you know, but, and so we as humans are so programmed to really need human interaction that, you know, we will literally place human thought and action on inanimate objects. And so I think we as humans, because of the society and the world that we live in today, we no longer have that sense of community and interdependence that we used to have, you know, 100 years ago, you know, as early as, or even as early, you know, and a lot of that I think obviously had to do with the you know, the iron, not the Iron Age, the Industrial Age, you know, and people moving away from smaller communities. And it's like, you know, parents used to literally watch each other's kids. And it was like, you know, Jerry Dawn, don't you be doing that. I'm going to tell you, I'm going to whoop your ass. And then I'm going to tell your mama she's going to whoop your ass too. Right. Yeah. And we've gone from that to how dare you raise your voice to my child? You know, we've gone from in the school system, a child messes up in school, from the parent being called into a parent teacher meeting and looking at the child after hearing what's going on and looking at the child. So, okay, what's wrong with you? Why are you acting out like this? How can we make it better? Turning around and looking at the teacher and going, what's wrong with you? You know?
Yeah, that's, yeah.
You know,
but I want to know what Luann's going to do next. I want to know where she is in her process.
Luann is going to take the high road. She is not going to bash anyone. She's not going to talk ugly in public about what happened. She's just not going to tell anybody.
You do know that this is public, right? It's a podcast.
Well, but she's not naming names and she's not giving dates and times and locations. So this should be fairly safe. But they know who they are. If they deign to watch it, which I doubt they will, then they'll recognize themselves in this conversation. I mean, look at Marjorie Taylor Greene, the idiot, and like, all somebody has to do is just say something similar to what she says is that I take issue with that. How dare you bring my personal words into this? And I'm like, first off, they didn't mention your name, right? So if they recognize themselves and then they call themselves out on it in a public forum, that's on them. It has nothing to do with you because you're not calling them out on it. So
all right, so you're not going to call them out on it. You're going to take the high road. What does that mean? What does it mean, take the high road, and what are you going to do with it?
If I wasn't interested in taking the high road, as I say, I would be bashing that person. I would be saying, how dare she? Why? And I would be calling everyone that we were involved with and telling my side of the story.
That's exhausting. Oh my God.
Exactly. So I'm not going there. I'm not going there. Two people. Okay. 2, 3, 4 people now. And
just remember, just remember this truism of the universe.
Oh God.
The rottenest of fruit is often the first to fall.
Well, you know, and somebody used to tell me, to the winner go the spoils.
Yeah.
So it's
But
kind
who-
of the same thing.
But who
Yeah.
gets to define winning in this situation? And the answer is we each define winning for ourselves, what that looks like to us, just like we all define success. So Luann, my advice to you is, in the end, you can say some things in a very nice way and you're still going to piss somebody off somehow, some way, or you're going to hurt some feelings.
Mm-hmm.
We never intend to hurt our life partners or our friends or our family's feelings, and they sure never intend to hurt ours, I'm sure, but it happens. It's human nature, right? But we as individuals get to choose how we're going to act and how we're going to react to those types of situations. Right. And, you apparently reacted or acted in a moment, right, that was inconsistent to how you know yourself and how they know yourself. You very rapidly apologized for it sincerely. I truly believe that. Okay. And then the other person decided that, oh, well, you know what? I'm just going to be butthurt about this. I'm going to act like I ate a raw habanero pepper and I'm now trying to get it out the other end about this.
It's been weeks, but I was really hurt weeks ago when I should have spoken up and said, I'm hurt. I just decided that I ran away to Houston and I spent a week and I said, these are your friends. You need to put all that little petty stuff in a box and hide it, because what you need to be doing is supporting your friends. And so when I came back, I said, okay, I'm supporting this project full steam ahead.
But who's supporting you? When are you going to support yourself, Luann?
I obviously am not getting support.
Exactly. But you're going to support yourself because you're fucking fabulous, right?
I'm fucking fabulous. Yeah.
Exactly. So let those tears fall when they come. You take them out, or do what I do. Oh, it's just my allergies.
Well,
at least you don't have anybody stalking you after the fact.
And purposely going out of their way to make phone calls about you and tell falsehoods on you.
Well, and that's the other thing, that if they want to, just okay, go ahead.
No, I'm not taking it.
At this point, what I need to say is, are you all right?
Are you okay? Yeah. Are you all right? Like, especially, seriously, I was reading an article about this lady who does etiquette for a living. Like, she's a modern day etiquette expert, and I didn't even know there was still such a thing, but apparently she teaches the stuff at the college level, ethics and etiquette and whatever.
College level etiquette. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Well, it's probably with ethics. That's a big thing if you're going to be a lawyer.
She was asked how to deal with people who are being rude or dismissive or difficult in a social situation without, actively calling them out and trying to escalate that or gaslight them, if you will. And her response was literally, well, sometimes, yes, calling them out or pulling them aside and talking to them is the proper thing to do. But 9 times out of 10, she said the easiest thing that you can do is reach down and, from a sincere place, just look at them and smile in a concerned manner and say, are you okay? Because that gives them the clue that something is not right, because we want to seem like we're okay to the people around us, right?
Yes, because
wait a minute. I got a question. Can you modify this to be more personal? So can you go, are you okay? Because you're being a real bitch.
No.
No, that is not taking the high road.
No, but you could literally go, Deborah, are you okay?
Why?
Exactly.
Why? You don't like what I'm saying?
You just seem a little bit off today. You don't seem like your usual self, things like that. So that sparks a self-assessment in the person. Do you know what I mean? And if they don't want to engage in a public forum like that, you know what I mean? Then but in the end, not Deborah, but Luann,
whatever my name is. Yes.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
You bitches on this
that broad
show
over there. Here's the deal. Okay. To thine own self be true, sister. To thine own self be true. And I had to learn that the hard way. And like I said, I love my sister with all of my heart. I really do. You know, she's my sister. She's my blood. She's my family. That doesn't mean I have to like her or everything she says or does. And it doesn't mean I automatically, you know, my mother tried so hard. She said, oh, you just need to forgive her. She's your sister. Yeah, you know, just because somebody's blood or family does not excuse or authorize toxic behavior. And if somebody's behavior or actions are toxic in your life, it is perfectly okay to just let them, whether that's let them be, let them go, let them act, say, or do whatever's in their nature to do. Just let them, because don't waste energy if you're not getting that return on the energy, right? Let all the negativity go. When I say let it go, I don't mean just let it go. I mean, take that, use it for fuel for something, you know, turn it into
Make it
powerful magic.
fun.
Yeah.
Make
Turn
it
it into
fun.
powerful magic to uplift and enrich your life, honey. Like, honestly, think about how many years or months or weeks of effort you've put into whatever this passion project was, right? And look at how unappreciated you have felt for so long now, right? And then now look at how you're being treated today, right? You do not deserve those actions being done towards you. You don't deserve to be made to feel less than. Because I have news for you, honey. You are nobody's less than, okay? You are more than enough. You are more than worthy. You are more than powerful. You are everything that you need to be in this world to be successful. And it's not your responsibility to make other people open their eyes and see the light. Your only responsibility is to just be the little light shining that you are. And people will either be drawn to your light like a moth to a flame, or they will be repulsed by it, because your light shines light on all of their darkness and shadows and reveals it. So you have no responsibility to make other people feel more powerful than you are by dimming your light. Okay? Don't dim it, honey. Shine as bright as you can motherfucking shine. And if their asses or their little wings get fried, oh, be it, they're the ones that flew too close, you know, or if they have to run away like roaches when a light turned on because they can't stand the sight of their own creepy crawly little antenna, let them, because you don't
Okay,
need
now
that
you're just
in
freaking
your
me
life.
out. You're grossing me out. We gotta leave those roaches out. We
Well,
gotta
I'm
get rid of
just saying, you know what I mean? Just be your light, Luann. Be sweet, be kind, be bitter, whatever you are meant to be in this life. I know, you know, it's there are some people like Deborah. I know that you feel perfectly comfortable just calling her on her bullshit when she's got bullshit going on. Okay,
do not
because
have
y'all are
bullshit.
y'all are that close of a friend, right? And she will call you on your bullshit left and right. And to me, that's a sign of true friendship. Y'all can call each other on your bullshit because you know it's coming from a place of love, right? Y'all know that, okay, I can snap at Deborah and she's gonna be like, really? And she's gonna let me be, and then she's gonna come up, well, okay, what's wrong? What's going on with that? What's
No,
up?
first I'm gonna go, here, baby, here's a Xanax. Now tell me what's wrong.
Okay, well, that works too. You're just gonna get involved in it, and vice versa, you know.
I'm just teasing.
And
I don't
then
have Xanax.
and you
Don't call
know,
me for a Xanax. I do not have Xanax.
it's like my friend Paul. We've known each other for 30 plus years now, I think. I'm about to be 54, and I've known him since I was 24, so what, 30 years. 30 years, right at 30
You
years.
do math. Yay.
Yay. I mathed it today.
You mathed it up.
I mathed it up. So 30 years I've known this person, and to hear us talk to each other in a restaurant or a bar or around the house, you think we hate each other's guts. You know, it's, oh, you hateful hag, or you little sow, you know, things like that. But it's all because we love each other, we pick at each other, we know where each other's boundaries are, right? But at the same time, I'm not above if he's not listening to me, just getting up and walking away. I literally did that. He was kept arguing with a mutual friend of ours at a restaurant. And I'm trying to enjoy the meal and engage in conversation. And they're so busy arguing and bitching and griping about everybody in the world but themselves. And I couldn't get a word in edgewise. And I said, hey guys, let's talk about something else. And I said, if we don't start talking about something else, I'm just going to get up and go home. So I literally, while they're sitting here at the same table, I ordered my check, paid for my check. I said, okay, goodbye, guys. I love y'all. I only live 3 blocks away. I literally got up and walked home. And I got a call about 4:30, 5:30 in the morning. Where are you? I said, I told y'all if y'all didn't quit your bitching, I was going to get to hitching. And that's exactly what I did.
All right,
So
so
I'm
we're
not
running out of
above.
time. We're running out of time. So, Luann, I want to hear your closing thoughts before we leave today.
Well, I guess I think that maybe I should have asked, are you okay? Because she wasn't acting in the same manner that I would have expected her to.
Mm-hmm.
I would have said, oh, why do you think you've been assaulted? When I think that's what she felt, that I had assaulted her, and that so
Verbally, that let me specify for legal reasons.
yeah, verbally.
Yeah.
I haven't assaulted anybody physically since I was 18. So I just
I'm not saying a word.
I need to I'm going to spend more time I mean, I know that I give till I can't. I give and give and give and give some more. I get that. That's just the way I am.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know, I think that being friends with Deborah has made me realize that I don't communicate in a proper manner with somebody who's either mad, pissed off, or
Well,
wait a minute, let her finish. Let her finish.
or attacking me. And I automatically take responsibility for it, even if I really didn't do it.
Yeah. Well, I think you said something earlier about you believe that she felt assaulted. Did she use those words with you?
No. She
No.
said I have to protect myself, and I'm
Mhm.
standing by this.
Okay. So what it sounds to me like, I'm thinking somebody at some point in her past used that, whatever phrase you allegedly said or did with her, in the same kind of tone or a similar situation. We hear this buzzword a lot in the classroom nowadays and in society. I'm triggered, or trigger warning, things like that. Unfortunately, people don't come with trigger warnings.
No,
People don't. And so, that's the reason why they have the rating system in the movies, and it says, oh, it's PG because of sexual violence, gore, or smoking, or whatever. And they have to list that out nowadays because people might be triggered by something in the movie, as somebody who lived through a type of sexual assault, certain things or certain scenarios trigger me, but at the same time, I don't wear a label on my forehead to say, hey, I was sexually assaulted at the age of 25 by somebody who slipped something in my drink that I trusted. I don't go around.
Okay, but wait a minute.
Yeah.
I have got to say this. I have got to get this out.
Yeah,
If
get it
you
out.
are old enough and wise enough and smart enough to know that something triggers you, you are now in a position where you're capable of dealing with it so it doesn't trigger you. I am so fucking tired of hearing that triggers me. I don't care. Deal with it. I cannot walk around on eggshells around 20 billion people wondering if I'm going to trigger them.
Well, that is a valid point. But at the same time, what I was trying to get to is like, I also have a condition called misophonia. I don't know if y'all know what that is, but it's where certain sounds trigger like an anxiety type reaction section and it just the sound it's in and your nerves get on edge. It's most commonly associated with the sound of people chewing or smacking. For me, a lot of different sounds, high-pitched sounds in particular, trigger it. So my Chihuahua, sometimes just his barking will trigger it, you know. But I don't wear a label on my forehead that tells the world, oh, this person has misophonia, so you have to be careful around certain noises about triggering them. That's my responsibility to learn how to deal with, right? You know, yes, do I want people to be compassionate about it and try to, you know, accommodate me when and where they can? Yes, but only if I identify that with them, right? So, but at the same time, people say and do things because we can't control them all the time that will trigger our PTSD or our traumas or our psychoses or whatever we've got going on in life that we don't tell people, our invisible illnesses, if you will, you know, and it's not their responsibility 100% of the time to avoid saying or doing something that's going to trigger me, you know.
So I am going to do that from now on, Chrystal. I'm going to say, are you okay? Or what just happened?
Yeah, what just happened? Say that because like in all honesty, like I said, I'm highly sensitive to MSG, right? But legally, they don't have to put MSG on the list of ingredients if they don't want to. They don't have to list it as an allergen. They can just say natural spices, or they can say herbs and spices, and it's just included in there. It's upon me to research the restaurants that I go to and eat at to keep myself from harm. And you know, that's just the way I have to look at it, because I have to be responsible for my own self-preservation, if you will.
Yes.
Okay, it makes sense. And in the end, Luann, your kids are all grown. They are grown-ass adults. Some of them may live with you, some of them may not. I don't know all of your situation or all of your deets, but here's the deal. Your responsibility for the well-being of other grown-ass adults ended when your children became adults and your husband left or divorced or whatever. You are responsible 100% for yourself and being the best version of yourself, or not, as you choose to be. Okay.
Well, yeah, and it's great. My kids do stand up for themselves and do support themselves. And
some people just choose to be assholes, and you know what? Let them. I don't have to be.
What my son's ex-wife told me one time. She goes, you know, you control your son. And I'm like, really? And she goes, yes. I said, if I control my son, you would not be in this family. So, you know, the perception of control there, you know, my son respects my opinion. He asks my opinion, but he doesn't do everything I think because we don't agree. So the whole point is being able to disagree with people, allow them grace when they do make mistakes. We all have bad days. And, you know, take me as I am or not. But if you choose to be in a relationship, no, this is what the package looks like. And it's got holes in it like Swiss cheese. And that's who I am. But, you know, people think that strong personalities walk over weak personalities. True relationships with strong personalities form bonds with other strong personalities, but they're strong in different ways. And that's like with Scott and I. Scott has to be a strong man to be married to me. I have to be a strong woman to be married to him. I'm just more vocal, and I'm part of this new movement of being a rebel. We called it teenagers when I was growing up, but I don't care what people think. You know, that's why we wore bell bottoms and did all the things that we did. I don't care what people think. I care what my friends need. But even then, I don't care what their opinions are. You know?
And I think you're right. When you've been friends a long time, you need to extend that grace to someone when they act like they never would, like they have never acted before or done something before.
Yeah, I don't say, are you okay? I just look and go, what the fuck is wrong with you today? That's how I talk. People, I'm not a nurturing, lovey-dovey person. And people,
when she says that to me, I go, I don't know what's wrong with me today.
She's really, and I have personally witnessed this, you guys. Deborah will literally look at Luann and go, what the hell is wrong with you today? And Luann will literally, like she just did right now, go, I don't know what's wrong with me today, but I don't know. I've got this and this and this and this going on, but I don't know about that and this. Like you literally, I'm gonna literally start writing down the litany of function versus malfunction with what's going on in her life right there.
And we get to the bottom of it and we get there quickly. We don't mess around. Life is short. And I could die and have a heart attack waiting for her to figure out what the hell's wrong with her. We've got to get it done. So, but when I say that, when I say what the fuck is wrong with you, it's because I care.
Yeah. If you didn't care, you would have just been like, you just walked on.
Yeah, I would be like, oh, she's bugging the shit out of me today. I gotta go. And I do it with people that I don't like or that I don't care about. I'm just like, I gotta go.
Yeah,
so,
you don't try to get down to the reasoning. You're just like, okay, let's let them in. Let's go.
Let them in, let go. There you go.
All right, Luann, tell people how they can find you, you poor little misfit today.
I know, I'm always broken, aren't I?
No.
See, I say that with love too, and she knows it.
I say never broken, just usually slightly cracked.
I got a real big crack in the back.
Stop.
Oh, come on. It's funny. All right, tell them where they can find you.
herbal-lou.com, or they can email me at herballou1105@gmail.com.
8675309. I got a song for everything. All right, Miss Chrystal, where can they find you, sweetie?
Well, they can find the non-sailor speaking potty mouth version of me. Because today I've been a little bit of a potty mouth. I'm just tired. I haven't slept. So if I've cussed a little bit more than I usually do, I'm not sorry. I'm just explaining it.
She does it all the time. So ignore her. She talks like that all the time.
I really do not. But no, in all honesty, it's just situations like this piss me off. It's because I don't like people making other people responsible for their happiness, right? Or their misery. You chose to be happy or you chose to be miserable. It's not other people's fault. So, but where you can find me, where I am.
I forgot what we were doing.
Where I am at my most nurturing is at my new location of Baruti Spa at 613 Main Street in downtown Garland, across from the soon-to-be renovated storefront of Dos Banderas. I can be found online at www.barutispa.com, on Instagram at Baruti_spa, and on Facebook at Facebook/Baruti Spa.
Okay, and I am Deborah Colleen Rose, the owner of Investigative Solutions Group, which is a private investigation company, ISGU.com, and milesofsmilesevents.com, which is an inspired, intuitive entertainment company. We tell fortunes, handwriting analysis, kiss readings, all kinds of fun stuff.
And remember to check out the new wellness room option at Miles of Smiles Events.
I was getting there.
Okay, sorry.
I was getting there. In fact, I put a bid on a possible contract for that today. So wellness rooms, think about this. Wellness rooms at your corporate events, at your wedding showers, at your actual weddings, while people are sitting around being damn bored while you get your picture taken, give them something to do. Wellness rooms, think mini facials, hand and foot reflexology, chair massage, energy work, and live guitar music soothing you through the whole process. Hypnotic, wellness, kindness.
You used to have the violin player?
Yes, still have that too. But most people don't find violin music to be as popular as guitar music. So we have both. But anyway, so we will see y'all next week. I am having surgery on my hip Thursday. I'm getting a whole new joint. Joint. So I don't smoke pot. I don't do drugs. I just like to talk like I do. Don't call me for Xanax. Don't do any of that. All right. So we will see y'all next week, and I'll probably be hobbling around with my walker. So y'all have a good week.
Bye.
Say bye, y'all.
Bye.